As Americans, we often forget that politics is not always a complicated game of three-dimensional chess. More often than not, our elected officials rely on more base means to move public opinion in one direction or another. And in most cases, we don't realize that while we're watching the political opera unfold from a distance, we also, in most cases, don't understand that we're the instruments being played. Hey everybody, my name's Will, this is the Back 40, and let's talk about it. Growing up in a house with three women afforded me the opportunity to stay up to date on relationship advice from the female perspective. One weekend afternoon during my formative years, while perusing whichever women's opinion magazine had been left on the family coffee table that week, I came across an article entitled something like How to Break Up with a Nice Guy. The article opined how difficult it is to break up with someone who says and does all of the right things, someone who values your opinion, someone who cares deeply about your feelings. And then the writer juxtaposed that with the opposite scenario, how in normal circumstances easy it is to break up with someone who just doesn't care, someone who never asks you about how you're doing, someone who's consumed with themselves at the expense of everyone around them. Giving up that relationship isn't nearly as hard. At the time, I never gave this article a second thought, but later in life, when I had to break up with that first nice person, I looked into her sweet brown eyes and questioned my own existence as I told her it all had to end. Recently, as we've experienced the assault on our federal government and the agencies that we depend on in so many aspects of our lives, I've thought a lot about this article. I've even gone so far as to question whether or not the authors of Project 2025 and Elon Musk may have read this same article so many years ago. And here's the reason why. There's no doubt in my mind that this is an assault on the federal government and that it's all about destroying the public institutions that we rely on in order to replace them with private institutions that can be owned by the billionaires that support the president. It's already happened to a large degree with prisons and to a smaller degree with schools. However, when you make the decision to destroy the majority of institutions that the Republic relies on, you can't do that without destroying the trust in these institutions first. And this is where How to Break Up with a Nice Guy comes into play. You see, the way you destroy government institutions that Americans rely on and have a high opinion of is to first destroy the reputation of the institution itself. You make the case that that institution is part of the Washington swamp. You make the case that that institution is spending the American taxpayer's dollar unwisely. You make the case that the American people that work there at these institutions are not good people and that they have the destruction of America front of mind. And in the end, you make the case that the institution is so poorly run and so beyond help that the only way to fix it is to destroy it and replace it with someone else. And by the way, that something else will be privately owned, and the shareholders will be the billionaires that support the president. And why take this approach? Because as that article said, it's a lot easier to break up with someone you don't like than it is to break up with someone you do like. And thus we come back full circle. This is not a game of three-dimensional chess. It's been a very simple strategy that's been implemented since the beginning of time. When you want a child to give up its binky, you tell them how dirty that binky is, or how they're too big and too strong and too mature for that binky. When you're moving the family across country, you talk about how great the new place is going to be compared to the boredom and staidness of the place you call home now. And on a grander and more nefarious scale, if you want to allow an enemy of the United States of America to overrun an ally, you simply formulate the lie necessary to make the ally look bad and tell everyone that they should support the enemy instead. And the same thing is happening with the destruction of our government institutions. People love Social Security, so you tell everyone that there are millions of people receiving it who are not alive or don't deserve it. You don't tell people that for every $1 in aid we spend through USAID, we save $7 later on national defense. If you want to destroy USAID, you lie about the programs and what they're being spent on. And the list goes on and on. It's a simple strategy. It's a jaded strategy, but it's a strategy that works. So just remember the next time you hear the president or Elon Musk attack a government institution as being part of the swamp or being guilty of mismanaging money or not accomplishing the job it was set out to do, just remember that they're playing the oldest game in the book. That's why nearly every savings they claim to have made so far has later been discredited or disproved. And then ask yourself one more question. If they're having to lie about the mismanagement and they're having to lie about the savings, then what is their true motivating factor? I'll give you a hint. There's a lot of money to be made by privatizing the government institutions that we all rely on. And the easiest way to do that is to destroy them with innuendo and false claims. And in the end, once the damage has been done, you can rest assured that it will be the president and his billionaire friends that benefit from the entire process. Hey guys, I'm Will. This is the Back 40, and I hope you have a great day.